She can read. The Title I person estimates it at a second grade level at best.
The last question we wrote down, I put what kind of difficulty was that for her, trying to see exactly where she was having difficulty spelling and reading and writing.
In spelling, reading, and writing, that's where it's difficult. All of the above. Okay. Any additional questions here?
What is her comment like?
She has no behavior problems. Whenever she does get frustrated, she gets into crying spells. So sometimes she has to leave the classroom to go to the guidance counselor or to the administrator just to chill out. But it's always about not being able to read. It's always about being frustrated with spelling and such.
When are the classes being taught? She's having a hard time. Is it like morning class, afternoon?
Well, currently, because of 5th grade, there's many classes where she has to do reading and writing, and they're spread out throughout the day. There's no specific.
We were going to ask where she was seated related to the teacher and the board. Like, was she far away, or is she working strictly out of like?
They've made the interventions of making sure she gets seated up front, making sure she has access to the teacher. Sometimes, actually, if you talk to Mary, she says sitting in the front is worse for her because she makes her feel like everybody's looking at her when she can't get anything done.
You're giving her all the research.
Why? What do we know? Why she moved to the new school?
The parents have to move. It wasn't a giant move.
Okay.
It was from one town to another, and they changed schools.
Does she work on those subjects outside of school?
The parents tell that they are trying so hard. Every day they spend 4 or 5 hours working with her on these things. To get through a 1-hour homework, it takes them 3 hours.
Has she ever been tested for any dyslexia?
Never.
Does she have any stressors at home or anything at home?
She's got a younger brother who she calls obnoxious, but other than that, it's pretty typical stuff.
Does she excel in her other subjects?
Art, particularly, yes.
Or she can't excel on other classes.
So not
read or write.
Yeah, math, she's got a good memory, for example. She knows all the multiplication tables. She has no problem with the functions, math functions. But if you give her a word problem, she's going to have a difficult time because of reading speed.
So there's nothing traumatic that happened in her past?
No. Nothing that we don't want to do.
Do we know, like, when the trigger, like, what's made the awareness of the difficulty, like, more apparent, I guess?
Like how the parents had the concern the whole time and
Yes,
just
they have.
decided to talk?
Since 1st grade.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
What was the trigger in 1st grade?
She had a real hard time reading and writing and memorizing her alphabet.
Have we asked why it hasn't been addressed?
Well, every time they asked it to be addressed, people said, well, we'll do a little something different and we'll wait to see if she'll grow out of it, and so it's been delayed. Sometimes they didn't have evaluators. So are you ready for a decision? I'm going to give you 5 minutes for a decision. Because we still have another case to decide.
It's your fault you mentioned pizza dad.
I didn't mention it.
No, I mentioned pizza. You mentioned guys.
I like pizza guys in their purest form, as in when they deliver pizza. Okay. That's right. Have we decided?
Yes.
What do we decide?
Decided that it is the right for the child, or the child that's the right to be tested.
So if you go for full evaluation, expedited
Maybe you
evaluation,
should just try to teach her another language and see what happens.
teach you another language. Actually, that would not be evidence of anything, because you can have a significant learning disability in your native language and pick up a second language without any difficulty. There's a different part of your brain that processes it.
Maybe we should just do that. Be like, listen, you're going to speak French.
Just send her to Spain and have her study in Spanish. Okay, so you guys,
We did the same thing.
why?
Because and it's only with words. If she speaks fluently and regularly, then that means that she knows the vocabulary. Like life at home seems to be okay.
This is what should frighten you.
She's gonna go into
That's
middle
why the
school.
expedite.
The reason why that should frighten you is because from 4th grade on, language dependence becomes incredibly exponentially higher.
She spent almost half of her public school
Yeah.
not
And
having trouble with
If she's
very-
reading at the 1st, 2nd grade level, any level of LD intervention you give her is going to bring her up maybe 1 grade, if you're lucky, a year. So by 6th grade, she'll be in 3rd grade level. By 7th grade, she'll be in 4th grade level. By 8th grade, she'll be in 5th grade level. So it's not easy to function at those higher levels of demand at such low capacity. It gets harder and harder and harder. The prowess of your intellect and your personality can only take you so far. So it's really important that we don't wait till then to figure this out. If reading does not improve in 6 months, we've got a problem, right? If you do an intervention and it doesn't work, you have a problem. So this is why RTI insists that you use measurable goals and frequent data points to figure out if your intervention is working or not. The most RTI intervention would be 6 months. You'd say, we'll do this for a month to see how it works. If it doesn't work, we'll expand it to this to see if it works. And these are our goals, these are our benchmarks, and this is where we're going. If within 6 months we've tried 6 different things and nothing is working, this goes full level evaluation.
The school dragged out for 2 years. Now, they did have that excuse that the LEA person was on maternity leave, but wouldn't the parents have the right to say, that's not my problem, that's yours? Fix it?
Absolutely. I'm so glad you brought that up. There is no reason why a parent, or for that matter, more importantly, a child should suffer because a district's LD evaluator went on maternity leave. They can contract another person, they can send her somewhere else, she can get a private evaluation done. So the business of 30 days from the time of referral to the time of evaluation is mandated. The only reason why they got away with that is because there was no formal referral made. Once a formal referral is made, the school district has no choice but to provide that evaluation in a timely fashion consistent with the law, including in the summer.
But they kept having the parents like wait.
They were able to convince the parents that they really don't need to go through the whole formal evaluation thing. The fact of the matter is, once you make a formal evaluation, you have triggered your legal protections. As long as you don't make a formal referral, you have no legal protections.
So formal referral initiated by the parents, or they have to tell the school, I want a formal referral, and then the school can delay that as well?
No, they can't delay that. Once a parent says, I am referring my child for special education evaluation, period, the end. That triggers a special education evaluation mandate.
If the school is not being helpful, would the parents need to get some sort of attorney or someone to help them through the process
Yes,
to get things done?
they don't need an attorney. There are advocates who work in this capacity either privately or through the Disabilities Rights Center in New Hampshire. It's in Concord. There are also attorneys who specialize in this. So, yeah, it is helpful to have an advocate.
Do they have to pay out of pocket for that?
Yes, they do.
And how long do they get once you require a referral as a parent of a student?
Once you make the referral, the school has 15 days to dispose of it, which means say yay or nay, we're going to evaluate or not going to evaluate. Once they say we're going to evaluate, they have 30 days to evaluate. And once they finish evaluating, they have 30 days to develop an IEP if they find the child does have a disability.
But if they say no, then what?
If they say no, that triggers an agreement or disagreement. Don't forget, you're part of a team. And even as teachers, you can say, no, I don't agree. If you're serving on that team, you can say, no, I don't agree. I think the child does have a disability. But if the parents disagree, essentially it triggers a due process hearing. You go to the State Department of Education for either a settlement hearing or a due process hearing and then sort of resolve that. Now, all the while, the child is being evaluated, the child is protected under all of the rights of a student with disability. So children who are being evaluated are presumed to be disabled until they're found not to be. So all the IDEA protections for that student trigger upon referral. So one of the things about referral, the rights of a student is that a student with disability cannot be suspended more than 10 days out of the school. So upon referral, now the school district cannot suspend the child for more than 10 days. If they have to suspend them, they have to find an alternate educational placement for them.
Why would they suspend them? I guess if they have major behavioral issues?
Yeah.
Or they get into a fight or
I mean,
whatever.
Mary wouldn't be suspended, but, John would have been. Over and over. We have a school here in Manchester who's famous for just suspending kids, with or without IEPs, doesn't matter. They'll just deal with the consequences.
What gives them the right to suspend a child?
If they violate the code of conduct.
They told the teacher to
Yeah. Yeah. They can. All right. Third case. James, 8th grader. He's in your art classroom. And you're teaching a class about classic paintings, right? Baroque, etc. And you find James asleep often, and when he's not asleep, he's talking, or when he's not talking, he's making noises, or doodling inappropriate pictures, mostly about female genitalia. So, what do you do with this child? Generate some questions.
Okay, why are we teaching this
And do we need to value?
classrooms that are going to have nudity? That is not the time.
15 minutes to go through the whole thing. So, starting with you. Questions?
Is he falling asleep in other classes?
Some, yes.
When is the class time
It's an afternoon class, around 1 o'clock. Last class of the day.
last class of the day? What is Jim Husband's
Jim, first thing in the morning.
Has he been tested, or does he have an IEP?
Does not have an IEP. No.
Has the teacher taken him out of class and talked to him one-on-one?
No. The teacher is offended by his behavior, so she doesn't really deal with him.
Is there someone in the class that's provoking his behavior?
No, he's the one who gets laughs.
Does the teacher really as you said, she's offended by the behavior, so
Yes.
discipline him?
She's offended by the inappropriate pictures and the
And does he
noises,
respond to
because he
that?
does simulate sex noises.
So she discipline him?
Of course. Or the
Does he respond to where they're offended?
Does he care?
No. Does he respond to it? Does he recognize it and
I don't think he cares one way or the other. He's not doing it to get a response from her.
Okay.
How has he done for the 8th grade? How has he done in art classes, and how's he doing in his other classes?
Excellent. He's doing well in his other classes because he's a bright kid and can get away with not doing a lot. He also has had no difficulty in art classes before. He says it's not his favorite, but he's not been objectionable prior to 8th grade.
So he has been questioned about this behavior, but it's not by her. He has been-
But you mean by James?
Yes.
James was interviewed, yes.
So, what was his response?
To what?
To, if he was interviewed and asked, what's your problem? I mean, she didn't take him out and ask him, but somebody else did. So
Right, I did. He said, that teacher is a bitch and I can't stand her.
That sounds very mean.
Fair to you? Okay. So,
How do his parents respond?
his parents are not particularly upset about any of this. They think this is too much to They don't see him as a particularly academic kid, but they're not worried about it.
Is the material from all of the subjects challenging enough? You said it's bright, is any stimulation going on in the classes as well?
He does say he's frequent.